Bad Nurse Kalia Copper, a.k.a. The Walking Bucket. I actually think I gave her the nickname The Walking Bucket. I don't know if anybody gave it to her before that, but I know I did. And she's done it in the playoffs with the Chicago Sky winning the WNBA title. It's about matchups. They have played the Liberty 3 times. They've beat them 2 out of 3.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
He's just only 2,300 points behind. So even if he does win at Memphis, he's still going to be behind Scottie Scheffler in the points by 300. So why? I mean, I want Scottie Scheffler to show up in Memphis, but does he need to? If Rory's not showing up and the third place guy, even if he wins, isn't going to pass him?
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
One big problem for NBC, too many on-air cooks for the coverage, particularly on the weekends. Having 4 on-air teams separate time, divide the time, was really outrageous. You had Mike Tirico and his partner. You had Dan Hicks, NBC Sports' lead golf commentator, and his partner. You had Steve Sands from Golf Channel and his partner. And you had Terry Gann, who, by the way, if you don't know, is going to become an NBA play-by-play voice.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Talk to any player. Hey, used to get 18 sacks, got 7 last year. Maybe it's a defensive scheme. I don't like it at the end of the season. Oh, he's got to earn his trust back. No, he doesn't. Just show up at camp the next year and start to dominate once again, and everybody will forget. You're telling me in game number 1, the Miami Dolphins going deep, Tyreek Hill, 6 catches, 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. Oh, man, we're still working the process. No, you're not. The minute you get back on the field, dap it up, get after it, and have a good season.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It is in-game live game day here on a wonderful Wild Wednesday. Scott Wetzel and Gabriel Morency for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching, analyzing, and, of course, betting on the world of sports. Major League Baseball got abbreviated schedule with a slew of afternoon games today, kind of a semi-getaway day. In fact, it is. They cleared the slate for the most part for the NFL for tomorrow, only 3 games tomorrow. So we got 4 or 5 baseball games, Gabe. We got some WNBA games, a good one, obviously, Minnesota and New York rematch of the WNBA championship, tipping off here in just a couple of moments. And then we got the baseball trade deadline we can talk about as well. So definitely some opportunities to make a couple shekels with the boys in Vegas. How are you tonight, bud?
It's always happy hour somewhere, even on a so-called slower night. There's a bunch of soccer games. I know you don't dip your feet and dive into that end of the pool very much, but there are a bunch of soccer games. MLS teams playing against League MX teams in Mexico. Freddie Freeman just hit a home run. The Dodgers are on the board, 2-1 Dodgers right now with Ohtani on the hill. But as you stated, Scott, it's pretty crazy that we'll open up with WNBA, but I'll throw it out there for everybody right now. So on what was it, Monday night, me and Scott watched the New York Liberty get lit up by the Dallas Wings. Paige Beckers and company got it done against the Liberty. Liberty were down by 27 at the half. They fought back. They cut the lead to 6 in the fourth quarter. So they didn't roll over, but now you got a rematch of last year's championship series and controversial, controversial, Scott, screw job ending. Last year. Let's call it out for what it let's call it out. If you're Minnesota, right? This is big time, game is circled. And you talk about it, dude, about the ridiculously stupid WNBA schedule. It's the best rivalry in the WNBA, and they haven't played yet this year, Scott. They're playing 4 times. Like we talked about it last night before the end of the season right now. Point spread's a little high. I'm just going to attack this from a player perspective. Collier is the best player in the WNBA right now, all right? And she's been straight fire since the All-Star break. She's averaging 25 points, 8 rebounds, 8.3, and 4 assists. Her points, rebounds, assist prop tonight's got 33.5. So she's averaging 25 points. She's averaging 8 boards. She's got 8 or more boards in every game since the All-Star break as well, which has been about, 2 weeks now? 2.5, 3 weeks, whatever. So there's a little bit of body of work here. Bro, she's just a stat machine, Collier. She's going to be the MVP, right? She's a runaway MVP, but I'm going to go over 33.5. And I know you have some black cloud numbers for me to tell me why I shouldn't take Sabrina, the teenage witch, at over 19.5 points tonight.
You got to be old enough to know that reference.
Came to my mind. I couldn't resist, right? A lot of people call her Sab and Sabrina, so I just, popped in my head. But I lost the other night with Ionescu. Remember, she heated up, Scott, in the second half. She got 1 point. She scored 16 in the second. I'm banking with no Stewart again, and she shows up tonight. I'm going over the 19.5. So over 33.5 Collier points, rebounds, assists. Over 19.5 Ionescu points.
If you're about 30 or so, you know that reference from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And if you're about 50, 60 or so, you know Sabrina the Witch because that was Sabrina on Bewitched. That was the kid's name, Sabrina, if you really want to date yourself. So how about that? I do have some numbers to kind of fight back on that a little bit. And that is part of our 5 on the line, 5 best trends for the games that have yet to begin tonight. All right, only 1 and 4. We'd like to face the music. I'm not going to just brag when we do well. We'll admit when we don't do well with these trends. And they are just trends. They're not really picks. We say that all the time, even when we're winning these things. They're not necessarily plays that we suggest. It's just those are the best trends. And it's kind of a curiosity thing of how these trends point out. So and play out. So last night, 1 and 4. The only winner we had was the over on Texas. All the others lost. Seattle lost to the A's, and then Luis Severino somehow or another. Washington lost at Houston. San Fran lost again. In fact, they lost again today against Pittsburgh. They got swept by the Pirates at home. And then you see we lost on the over Las Vegas, LA, because that didn't quite get to 176 points. So right back to the well we go today, Gabe. But we only have 3 for you. Here we go. First one, Ionescu, right? New York, Minnesota tonight. 19.5 points is her number. We're going to go under based on the trend because these two teams played 9 times last year, right? 4 in the regular season, 5 in the best of 5 WNBA finals. She had 20 points in only 1 of the 9. So trend-wise, under 19.5. Next one, same game, play number 2. Under 22.5 points, Nafisa Collier. Again, these two teams played 9 times last year. I'll give you one guess how many times Collier had 23 points or more. How about 0? 0 out of 9. Now, she had 20, 21 a couple times. She came close, but 0 and 9, trend-wise, you got to play the under 22.5. And then the last one, the coup de grace, creme de la creme, which is, been on fire, oddly enough, our best trend for the night. And that is Texas Rangers, 17-7 over after being a monster under team. They've gone over. LA, 13-5 over as well.
Rangers surprisingly keep losing to the Angels.
2 in a row.
So interesting numbers, as you stated. Interesting that both stars. I guess, you have 2 good teams. They focus on the stars.
What's low-scoring games, Gabe? Here's the thing. The 167.5 for tonight, only 1 time in the last 7 or 8 meetings, I'll double-check my stats, has it gone to 168. And the 1 time was an overtime game. And they even had an overtime game. Game 5, if you remember, was a super low-scoring game. So only once has it hit this number. These two teams went, and that's why I like the under tonight as well. When these two teams get together, they really ratchet up the defense, and because of that, the Stars don't get as many points as they normally would.
There's another WNBA game going off the board right now as well, and I think there will be points, Scott. This is not a rematch of any championship. This is just 2 teams that like to get after it here. And we've seen, listen, the Dallas Wings can be on or off, but the potential is there. And we know that Paige is a stud. And you cashed the other night. It's 16.5 once again tonight. Just too low for me not to take Paige Beckers over 16.5 points. And I'm going to go over the number, 166.5. More than reasonable for a Dallas Wings game, Scott. Give me the over tonight with the Dream and Wings, 166.5, and Paige over 16.5.
Yeah, I like the over as well. This is Atlanta playing back-to-back. They lost last night to Golden State, and we could kind of talk about what happened there in the closing minute. But how about Alicia Gray for the Dream, Gabe? She averages 18.5 points. She had just 12 last night on 2 of 11 shooting. She's not going to play that poorly. In fact, this is going to be the 3rd back-to-back for Atlanta this year. The previous 2, she had 28 and 18. Now, 18 is under, but it was a blowout win where they didn't need her to really put up the points. I think they played Chicago and they won by like 20. So you almost throw that one out the window. But the other one, 28, shows you that in a back-to-back situation, she is more than capable, unlike a lot of the women, of putting together good performances. So I think she's in an absolute bounce-back mode. And same thing, I like the points. I think we're going to get a ton of points. So I'm going to go with the Gray for Atlanta over 18.5.
How about this, Scott? We talked last night with the coach James Young about Cameron Brink making her season debut last night, and I brought up that her over/under point total was 5.5. She finished with 5 points, Scott. Talking about a sharp number, huh? So she goes under. She scored 5 points. She played 14 minutes last night. So something to keep your eye on moving forward as far as her numbers are concerned. Her props probably be 5.5 again. And I'd almost lean over in the next game, Scott, because she probably plays 17 minutes instead of 14. Like, it's just going to increase with each game.
Yeah. She was kind of like the Willis Reed. I'll explain when we come back.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number one. Talk a little WNBA to start things off. And I said that Cameron Brink was kind of like the Willis Reed of the WNBA. Only because, Gabe, you remember the great scene Willis Reed against the LA Lakers back in the '69 championship. He comes out of the locker room late. Place goes nuts at Madison Square Garden. He comes on the court to start Game 6 or Game 7, whatever it was. He hits the first 2 buckets, and then that was it. And like, people don't realize it's one of the great chapters.
Point.
I'm going to write my great sports misnomers.
He didn't score 36 points. right? Like he didn't come in and take the game over. He hit a couple of shots. But it was the presence. It was the presence, right?
They won by 30 points, right? And somehow his 2 buckets in the first minute of the game gets credit for the 30-point win. So
and
that
Paul
was
Pierce
great
would be
last
the
night.
other one, right? Let me just throw that out there. Paul Pierce, right? Paul Pierce coming back for the Boston Celtics. Didn't they wheel him back out onto the court? They wheeled him out in the wheelchair, and he got up. He was kind of playing it up. He wanted that moment, but Brink had that moment, like you said, Scott, but they got lit up by Vegas. They got beat down last night. That's what happens, though. Not that it's her fault, but you won 5 games in a row. You're rolling. You bring this player back, and we're talking about what, like the second pick of the draft, third pick of the draft, whatever she was?
Second. Second.
Yeah,
after,
so it's not one of these. Well, like you got a player, Scott. Like she's a big time player, right? Like she's the face of the front. She was the face of her, Rakia Jackson, and obviously they bring Plum in. But you know what I'm saying? They got to get her on the court, so they're going to have some growing pains, I think.
I mean, her over-under was 5.5, and she has a 3-pointer in, the first minute of the game? I mean, you're thinking, all right, you know what? I should have doubled my bet. I should have tripled my bet. It's the easiest thing in the world. And she ends up with just 5. Welcome to gambling, right? I mean, sometimes it's just tough. Sometimes it really is. So. All right, so we got a couple
of people that won on the
WNBA
under, Scott. They'll all be patting themselves on the back. Oh, what a great pick! Under 5.5. So you're lucky she didn't get to the free throw line one more time.
One time, one lousy time. You would have thought, right? So, it's a example number 20 gazillion on how it's never over until it's over, right? It could be anything, and if it's not over, as the Yogi would say, it's not a cash ticket. So. Off to a decent little start, but since we'll begin there. Liberty 20-13. I tell you, I do have a system. I didn't play it tonight, Gabe, because 7.5 was just too high. But I do like playing on the team that faced the championship team, or maybe got eliminated in the previous year, and they're facing them for the first time the next season. There's a little more chip on their shoulder, a little more mental edge, a little more. We want revenge, even though it's a regular season game. But I didn't do it tonight because I wasn't going to lay 7.5. That's a big number to lay New York. Did you do anything for the game itself aside from those props?
No, I just played the props, and we'll keep our eye on this. As you stated, 2015 right now, so the Liberty have a 5-point lead. It crossed my mind, but I don't like doing the favorite parlays. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to play 2-3 teams just to get it to like -110 or something. I've used to do it, and there's always a bump in the road along the way. And so I was thinking, I do think Minnesota win the game, but I was with you. Put it this way. If the Liberty didn't get lit up the other night in Dallas, it would have been a different spot and scenario almost, right? If they were coming off a win. But they were pretty embarrassed by that. Like, if you read their quotes after the game, they all said that was unacceptable. Like, that was our worst first half of basketball that we played all year. Of course, why not? Because I had the over, ladies, right? That's why you have to play your worst first half of basketball of the year. So we're talking about a championship pedigree team. I know no Breanna Stewart, but coming off an embarrassing loss to a bad Dallas team. Was called out for what it is, right? I mean, they had number 1 pick in the draft for a reason. So a bad Dallas team. Yeah, New York. It felt like a New York spot tonight, didn't it? But I just don't fully trust the Liberty. Right, so I think long story short, Scott, I think the Lynx win the game, but let's keep our eye on the in-game. It's down to 3.5 right now, -190 on the money line. But if it gets down to like a pick 'em or something like that, I'll jump in on the Lynx to come back.
Right. Good start for our over Atlanta and Dallas. 21-19. Still a minute left to go in the first quarter. Over under there is up to 171.5. So let's keep the points coming on that one. No Caitlin Clark again tonight. I don't know if she's going to play again for this regular season. Groin injuries are not like a sore leg or a sore ankle. Groin injury, first of all, you don't want to screw around with those because you'll injure it even worse. They're like hamstrings. Those things can just linger forever. And she's missed 13 games already, 4 with this injury. They're a 50-50 team, 6-7 without her, so that they show they can win. But, no Caitlin Clark, bottom line tonight. They're at home. They were getting a couple points against Phoenix, and they're actually leading 57-50 midway. Well, early third quarter, just started the second half. A lot of score there. 188.5 is now the total.
They are hanging on to a playoff spot, right? Can they tread water? But last year, obviously, Caitlin, she had that great run, right? From college into the WNBA. I thought this year, like a lot of people, wow, like, now she's bulked up. You see, like last year she was kind of skinny and getting pushed around. This year she bulked up. We were expecting massive things. Never really got into a rhythm this year, right? It's been one sort of off-the-court issue and not by her own doing, but, right, the story has just sort of turned a little bit, right? It was like, you know what I mean? She's like America's darling, but now there's always something. And she couldn't really get on track. The team was supposed to be better. Bonner left. You talked about it, Scott Bonner, a coach. We talked about it with a coach. Bonner suddenly playing well, right? So there's just been a lot of sort of, weird stuff with this team. And here they are, though. They're still a 14-12 basketball team, Scott, right? So, but you have to wonder, like, is there not a storybook ending to this story this year, but is there a different ending, or is it she's just always going to be injured? And now, I don't know if you saw this, but earlier today, even her own fans are upset right now because there's a video of her playing soccer. So people are like,
really?
Dude, like if you're playing soccer on video, but what, you can't play basketball? Like, what's going on here? Like, yeah, she's running around playing soccer, Scott.
With a groin injury.
Yeah, I remember there was a defenseman on the Canadiens, Malahoff. It was a Russian dude. Same thing. He had a bad knee, and it was around Christmas, and Canadian fans spotted him skiing at the ski slope, Scott. You got a bad knee. He's going down the hill.
Wow. Could they be turning on CC? Unbelievable. All right, SGP, same game parlay coming up next.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try Blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Her and Howard at the 2-3 are extremely dangerous. But it's playoffs. And it's defense, and it's rebounding. You know the game? Offense exciting, defense wins games, rebounds win championships. Well, they got BG and Brianna Jones at that 4-5 combination.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Tiger used to really annoy me because all he did was win, and I was like, gosh, I just want to see some drama. I want to see Phil challenge him. I want to see some magic down the stretch and have Tiger pull it out in miracle-like fashion, like Rory just did at the Masters, when something is really compelling like that. Scotty sucks the drama right out of the golf tournament as well. He just doesn't do it with all the panache.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He was already doing the dusting of the spot of where this one was going to go after Augusta this year. And the players, he's had this insane start to the year. We won 3 times. Surely Scotty Scheffler isn't going to have a resume by July that's going to be way better. It's just, there's no way. But here we are. It's Scotty Scheffler with 2 majors on the year.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1, third segment. You know what we do, little SGP same game parlay time. All right, I know there is only 1 or 2 games left, but, it doesn't matter. There could be 100 left. This is where the German, Polish, Irish, and Italian inside of me are all fighting together, and the stubbornness comes out, because I'm going right back to the well with those dopey Texas Rangers. I'm going to be on them when they win next. I don't care if they lose 30 in a row. Give me Texas again. I did not see them get swept in this series. So
Are
give
we
me
sure
the Rangers
Seager's playing
minus the
tonight? I can't resist
124.
this one. So Seager's in. You're going back to them, but yeah, Seager's in. It was just rest last night, so Seager's back in.
Yeah, well, he rested against the lefty, God forbid, right? So give me the Rangers. Give me the over 8. We gave you the numbers before, 17-7 over. All of a sudden, an over machine. Give me Seager plus the 2 bases, plus 105. Day of rest is like, heaven for these baseball players. I will say they do have a tough schedule. By far the toughest in all the sports. They really do. So getting a day off is like nirvana for these players. So I'm thinking he's going to come out strong. We'll use Josh Jung. Got another hit last night. This guy's been on fire, sitting over 400 in the month of July for Texas. So why not? Minus 195. And then we'll go with Sean Noel for the Angels, who got a hit last night as well. I think that's now 10 straight games in which he's gotten a base hit. Minus 215. Not a bad little payoff. Sometimes they surprise me how low it is. Other times they surprise me how high it is. This wasn't exactly high, but they're giving us a decent number. Plus 704 when I put it in this afternoon. What do you think?
That's not a bad number. At least you're getting paid for this. And as you stated, I'm not a big fan of, they can't lose again, but it seems like the Rangers are due tonight. I mean, the Angels have found a way. The Angels have been battling and right around the 500 mark all year, right? And interesting, Scott, actually, just a quick look at the other side of this. We didn't get into the Major League Baseball trade deadline, but a lot of people were surprised by the Angels' aggression, actually, right? Like, they get criticized no matter what they do, right? Oh, you got Ohtani, you got Trout, you can't win. Oh, you signed. Like, if you think about it, like, Marino gets criticized a lot, and I get it. There's stadium stuff, and, they won so long ago that honeymoon is over with the fan base, but they've just spent money in the wrong way, Scott. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they have tried. Like, did they know that Rendon was just going to, like, steal from them and say, well, you know what? I don't even like baseball, all right? Like, I don't really care. Remember we said that? Like, it's like, well, I wish you would have told us this before we gave you $192 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, is it Marino's fault that Trout's always hurt? Right? Like, I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff that's gone against the Angels. And what are they? 53 and 55, 54, 54 and 55 off the top of my head right now. So, like, they're one game under 500, but they surprise people by bringing some guys in, and they're making a push and what they see as a wide-open American League, in their opinion.
Yeah, you know what it is? They're 4 back in the wild card race. And listen, if they got into the postseason, could they win? Probably not. And do they have pieces? Soriano, the pitcher tonight, Gabe, that other players would want? Absolutely. No two-way. Kikuchi, they could probably make a trade for. But you're right. They're not the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Miami Marlins. He does spend. They just don't spend it wisely, and guys get hurt all the time. It's crazy when they go out there. But they are within striking distance. So you got to give them at least credit for trying. And, right around 500, 2 games over, 53 and 55. But more importantly,
they're going to hit their win total. They're going to hit their win total.
Yeah,
like, barring a disaster, right? It was 71.5, depending, 72.5, depending on when and where you bet it. But I've got one for you before we go to the break, Scott. You were talking about how the Blue Jays were on cruise control. You would have assumed, they're about to cash the ticket to win the most games in the month of July. And I was surprised when you said it's the Milwaukee Brewers who actually will be the ones, like a horse race. And here come the Brewers down the stretch, right? You know what I mean? But how about this, Scott? This is amazing. The Brewers will enter August with a Major League Baseball leading win percentage of .593. That is the lowest winning percentage by a Major League Baseball leading team entering August in the modern era of baseball. And it's funny because I bet the Dodgers over 104 and 100 over 103.5 this year.
So did I.
Yeah, they've had a bad couple of weeks, but they're not having a bad year, Scott. But they don't really have a hope in hell of getting there. Like, you notice this modern era, it's hard to get to 100 now. Like, parity is real in Major League Baseball. And this number says it all. They're the best team in baseball, and they only have a .593 winning percentage right now.
Yeah. I mean, the Angels, right? 2 games under 500, yet they're right there in the wild card race. So, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, give us some winners when we come back.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try Blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Her and Howard at the 2-3 are extremely dangerous. But it's playoffs. And it's defense and it's rebounding. You know the game? Offense exciting, defense wins games, rebounds win championships. Well, they got BG and Brianna Jones at that 4-5 combination.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Tiger used to really annoy me because all he did was win, and I was like, gosh, I just want to see some drama. I want to see Phil challenge him. I want to see some magic down the stretch and have Tiger pull it out in miracle-like fashion, like Rory just did at the Masters, when something is really compelling like that. Scotty sucks the drama right out of the golf tournament as well. He just doesn't do it with all the panache.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
He was already doing the dusting of the spot of where this one was going to go after Augusta this year. And the players, he's had this insane start to the year. We won 3 times. Surely Scotty Scheffler isn't going to have a resume by July that's going to be way better. It's just, there's no way. But here we are. It's Scotty Scheffler with 2 majors on the year.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. Let's get some baseball with us from our good buddy Jeff Dawson, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. What's going on, Jeff? How are you tonight?
Baseball has not been very, very good to me. I just been on the wrong side of every hook. No guys on, 2 outs, and then a walk hit batsman, base hit, we lose. Bases loaded, no outs, need 2 runs, get 1 run. So it's the dog days of summer, so I'm back on tonight to break this trend, guys.
It's Bizarro World this week. We've been talking about, we've been talking about trends, and every trend and every logical play has lost this week. like every one of them. Like Oakland, Sacramento, and the Mariners. Oh, it'll be a ton of runs. How do we know? Look at the numbers. This pitcher's terrible. Kiwanuwicz, the kid pitcher on the Angels the other night, right, against the Rangers. Oh, last time he started, his last start, he gave up 8 runs. He gave up 1 run. How the Rockies won the other day, right? I mean, it's been a weird week in baseball this week. My deal is, bet it, but don't be dropping 5 dimes on these games, man, unless you're a Cleveland Royal relief pitcher and you know something.
It's been brutal. When you expect a lot of runs, you're not getting a lot of runs. These pitchers that are not good turn into be good. I really liked the White Sox today. I thought I'd get cute, get 4.5 over in the first 5, 2-2. No one scores in the top, bottom, first and second, 1 out. Can't get another run across. 2 runs, 2 innings later, they put up a 4 spot. So it just seems like we're a half step behind or a day early. But it's the dog days, and we see the light, and here comes football.
Yeah, tomorrow. That's the good news, Scott. That's what I was going to say. The good news is we're going to Charger Lion game to bet on tomorrow. You don't want to worry about what the San Francisco effing Giants are going to do, Wetzel, every day. But go on.
And the Giants get swept. I mean, are they sellers here? I mean, you get swept at home is bad enough. First of all, you get swept is bad enough. Swept at home is bad enough. And then get swept at home by the Pittsburgh Pirates, who had the fewest wins outside of Colorado, Jeff, in all of baseball before this series began. I mean, how in the world did San Francisco lose 3 in a row, and does that make them sellers in your eyes at this point?
It's the curse of Devers. Hey, listen, I'm 45 minutes from Fenway Park here. And listen, San Fran got a deal in their mind. Listen, we'll spend the 281 or the 279, whatever it was, because they were runners up for Judge, Ohtani, and those will cost them $500 and $600 million. So Devers in his prime for 281, 279, sign me up. It's a lost year. Sell the pieces that you can. Come back next spring, add a few pieces, and start over. But yeah, they should be sellers, definitely, Scott.
I can't help but think of the irony, Scott and Jeff, here with the San Francisco Giants. As you stated, Jeff, this has been going on, post, Bochy and Bumgarner and Posey era, in which they went after Bryce Harper hard. They struck out. Like, oh, you know what? Judge is from the area. Ohtani, Soto. Not to mention every other big name free agent, right? Like,
correct.
They have tried, right? Yeah, like everyone, Scott, they've been, we'll give you $500 million, we'll give you $600 every time. And the thing is, they were actually good, Scott. They've been, what I mean? It was like, wow, we shouldn't be good, but we're actually good. And then they bring your boy Devers in and the wheels just fall off, right? It's the irony of this almost. It's like, wow, you got your superstar, and what happened?
Yeah.
Nothing. Boom, crash, bang. You almost got to look at how they're made up and how they're built. Now they're stuck with Devers. They can't do anything about it. They got Logan Webb. What else do they have around it? You try to add a Verlander. That wasn't going to work anyways. Some of the young kids aren't hitting. Some of the veterans aren't hitting. I think they need a full reboot here, guys. I mean, Logan Webb, Devers, and what else? I mean, take a hard look in the mirror, and then they're not afraid to spend, guys. So look for them to spend some money this November and December.
Yeah. I'll say 9 games over 500 before Devers, now 9 games under 500 with Devers. And him not hitting in that ballpark is not exactly going to embrace other free agents to want to go there. I can't help but think that plays a role. So Yankees down 1-0, Jeff, against Tampa Bay. It's a beautiful night so far. Any interest in Tampa Bay and the Stanks tonight?
I leaned Tampa Bay here. I leaned their team total over 4.5. I thought the first 1 to 5 here might get there. It was an 8.5, pushed up to 9 as well. So, I mean, this could be a 5-4. I like the price on Lytle. It's now top 5, obviously. I don't know what the in-game number was, but there was some money trickling in on the Rays. I mean, I assume most people will take a look at the Yankees as a dog, maybe at home, final at-bats if they need it in the ninth and take that one. But I leaned Tampa Bay early on the pre-flop, Scott.
Rangers and Angels, guys.
Yep,
Scott, you've been all over the Rangers, right? Scott likes the Rangers tonight. What about the total, guys, of this game? People aren't going to, you talk about the trends, and I get it with the team total, with the Rangers to the over, and you talked about it earlier, Scott, with the trends with the Rangers to the over. But Soriano's been pretty good, and we know how good Eovaldi has been this year. I thought there was an even 8 earlier today. I'm seeing 8.5 right now, guys. To me, it's almost contrarian and risky to say I'm going to take the under, Scott, but I'm looking at the under in this game, actually.
What do you think, Jeff?
I did some get cute. I like Eovaldi, even though, as you said, Soriano has been pitching great. This is going to be a great matchup here. I tried to get cute. I took Texas minus 125 first 5. And I also took a swing and bite at the apple here with the Rangers team total over the 4.5. Got that at plus 115. So instead of laying the 130 in the full game, I kind of got cute here, grabbed the plus money saying, hey, if the Rangers going to win, they're probably going to get to 5 or better here. So again, maybe a 5-4 final, 5-3 final. But I do like the Rangers side tonight.
You took them first 5 as well, right? So first 5 and then the Ranger team total, both, right? All right.
Yes, I did.
How about Seattle and the A's? Who do you like in that one?
Again, Seattle, the favorite tonight, minus 143 with a 9.5 over. I'm not going to lay the juice here. I got plus money with the Seattle team total over 5.5 as well. We got that at plus 115. Need a touchdown. No extra point, no 2-point conversion here. So get us to 6 or better. What better than a Cal Riley homer or something to start the first inning off? But I think Seattle gets to 6 or better tonight, guys.
You know, I tell you, that A's team, I will say this, Jeff. If this kid, Nick Kurtz, can be a player, they already got Brent Rooker, and then they got Jacob Wilson, who I now is hurt. But, that's not a bad 1, 2, 3, turn this franchise around if these guys can continue on the pace they're at.
They remind me of the Baltimore Orioles of a couple of years ago. They're scrappy. They can score some runs. They don't quit like some of the other teams have. And don't forget, they got the Miller kid in the back where if they don't think they're going to win in the next couple of years, if I was the Red Sox or a team that wants to get creative right now with the deadline tomorrow, I wouldn't overpay for Alcantara. I wouldn't overpay for, Suarez as well. I'd be calling these guys up, seeing what the price tag is for Mason Miller. Extend in the back end. If you got a closer, make Miller your 7th and 8th inning guy. But that is the guy if you're looking for quality prospects, a couple veterans to come back with those kids because they can score.
You know what the problem is, though, Scott? You know that Fisher's never going to spend money. So, All right, Rooker got paid a little bit. And, dude, they're like 3-4 years away from Vegas still. And they're not going to spend any more money getting 7,000 fans a game in Sacramento. And by the time they get to Vegas, all their young players will be good, Scott, and they'll cash in and play for other teams.
Yeah. Talk some WNBA with Jeff when we come back.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try Blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Her and Howard at the 2-3 are extremely dangerous. But it's playoffs. And it's defense, and it's rebounding. You know the game? Offense exciting, defense wins games, rebounds win championships. Well, they got BG and Brianna Jones at that 4-5 combination.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Tiger used to really annoy me because all he did was win, and I was like, gosh, I just want to see some drama. I want to see Phil challenge him. I want to see some magic down the stretch and have Tiger pull it out in miracle-like fashion, like Rory just did at the Masters, when something is really compelling like that. Scotty sucks the drama right out of the golf tournament as well. He just doesn't do it with all the panache.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He was already doing the dusting of the spot of where this one was going to go after Augusta this year. And the players, he's had this insane start to the year. We won 3 times. Surely Scotty Scheffler isn't going to have a resume by July that's going to be way better. It's just, there's no way. But here we are. It's Scotty Scheffler with 2 majors on the year.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe talking with Jeff Dawson, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. Before we get to the WNBA, Jeff, trade deadline tomorrow afternoon, 6 o'clock Eastern time. bunch of moves being made today and maybe being made today with the Helsley situation, with the Mets apparently agreeing with St. Louis's closer. Any move that you like that all of a sudden makes you shift from, I don't like this team, but now I like this team, or vice versa? Anything jump off the page for you today?
Well, I was talking to a few friends and colleagues. Helsley was the guy to add some length to someone's back end there. Great move by the Mets. I mean, let's be realistic here, guys. When we get to the end of September and October, this Dodger team is going to look entirely different. They're going to have all their arms back there, or most of them, and they're going to have the veteran leadership up top. So they're going to be a real tough out. So I think you're really going to have to beat them with pitching. So you can never get enough arms. So I applaud the Mets. That's a smart move. Again, who else is out there? Alcantara. Listen, I respect Alcantara. He could eat up some innings, but if I was a team looking for Alcantara, like the Red Sox, for instance, I would be more giddy for next year when I can wheel out Crochet and an Alcantara as a 1-2 punch here. But I applaud the Mets, Scott. I think that was a great move.
I don't know how you guys feel. I'm a Dodger fan, and as you stated, people go live and die by the Dodgers, and they screwed my parlay and this and that. But as you stated, Jeff, they're going to be judged by what happens in October/November, right? Point blank. So big picture as far as the Dodgers are concerned. But I'll ask you guys. To me, Scott, you asked about a trade deadline. Bringing in Duran, bro, is pretty big for the Philadelphia Phillies. To me, like, the Phillies are the biggest threat in the National League beside the Dodgers. If you had to ask me who's playing in the World Series, I'd say the Phillies or the Dodgers, Scott. I don't know if you agree with that, but from a Dodger perspective, San Diego could beat them too. Like, San Diego are dangerous, one of those division type of deals. But from a future betting perspective, I think, the odds are only going to drop with the Phillies. From a future perspective, Scott, I would say from the National League perspective, I think the Phillies getting Duran is big, and I think they're a super dangerous team.
Yeah, I tell you, both the Mets, right? Mets and Phillies both helped themselves, really helped themselves. With the back end of their bullpen, especially Philadelphia, that plugs a big hole for them. Mets, we already had Diaz, so that wasn't too bad. Now they got the combination. Is that going to sit well with Helsley? That he's not necessarily going to be the closer. You wonder how that's going to fit in. But I tell you what, Jeff, but pick your team. Whether it's the Dodgers, wouldn't shock me. Mets, Philadelphia. I don't think the Cubs or Milwaukee really have enough to get to the World Series. But the National League postseason is going to be phenomenal. It really is going to be just one great game after another, right?
And think of the Cubs. They lost basically their ace early this year with Justin Steele, and they haven't really missed a beat. Amanga gets hurt as well. I mean, they get some clutch hitting. Tucker, they can score. Crow Armstrong's having an amazing year, who actually should be the MVP, not Shohei, but we got 2 more months for that as well. If the Cubs could figure out something tomorrow, come up with a big splash, because I think the Brewers have peaked. Gabe, at your last segment as I was coming on, hard to believe. Where did the Brewers come from? I mean, the Mizorowski kid, they just came from nowhere, just like your Jays, though. The Jays, hats off. I mean, they came from nowhere as well, but did they both peak too early?
But that's the thing. You're right. 2 things about that. Number one, and we were talking about the Angels with Scott a couple of minutes ago, Jeff. Are they serious contenders? No. But we've seen this year, Major League Baseball, guys, you're a 1 winning week, big week away from getting in it.
Yeah.
You get hot for 10 days, 14 days, you flip the season's flipped. The Blue Jays flipped the season in a couple of weeks, right? You see these teams. The Red Sox got right. The Red Sox were riding off. It was like sticks says, "Come sail away." It was bad, right? It was a disaster. Red Sox fans were getting mad, and I even remember I talking to Guns Picks, a Red Sox fan. Well, we're only beating bad teams. Let's see. Whatever. It doesn't matter who you're beating. You're suddenly back in it right now. That's all it takes. And same with Seattle, guys. You notice Seattle has sort of been up and down, but they're still right there. And with their pitching, Jeff, they wouldn't be a fun team to play in the playoffs. I know it's very cliche to say that about teams, but it is true with the Mariners.
No, I think for a 7-game series, I mean, everyone I think is leaning and looking at the Tigers for one reason. Obviously, in a 7-game series, you're going to have to beat Scooball one of those games, but another team that obviously might have peaked too early here. So Seattle, Gabe, has the starting pitch, and the question is, do they have enough timely hitting? J-Rod, can Cal Riley keep it up? Who else can move the chains, as we like to say, in the postseason? They definitely have the arms to match anyone in a 7-game series.
All right, WNBA tonight. I know you like Minnesota. They're off to a good start. They're leading at the half by 9, 51-42. Lines up to 10.5. I know you like them at 7.5. Would you go as high as 10.5?
When you look at the WNBA, an 8.5 with a 161 overnight, it went to 7 at the Circa. There was some 7.5s. There's only one way that number can go. I mean, in what world are you getting 7.5 with a Liberty team? So I kind of just use the eye test here. I wish it was this, I will say, easier in baseball and some of the other sports sometimes. But it just looked like the right side, because I just thought the public and the squares would probably say, oh, you're going to give me the Liberty at 7.5. I think that they can win the game outright. Should have jumped on him minus the 4.5 first half as well. So I think it's probably going to be between a 9, 10, 11-point game, either which way, guys.
Collier has gone off, Scott, in the first half.
Yeah, just looking at
I see your
numbers.
face. Here, look.
Yeah, her current number is 30.5.
20.
So
She's got 19 points, Scott, in the first half. 19.
Jeez.
Remember, Jeff, I played over 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists. She got 19 points in the first. And as far as she got 4 rebounds and 1 assist. All right, so I'm at 24 right now. Not bad for the first half.
You're looking good.
Not at all.
Good. Jeff, great job as always, man. We'll do it again soon. Jeff Dawson, EastCoastSportsInvestment.com.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try Blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Her and Howard at the 2-3 are extremely dangerous. But it's playoffs. And it's defense, and it's rebounding. You know the game. Offense exciting. Defense wins games. Rebounds win championships. Well, they got BG and Brianna Jones at that 4-5 combination.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Tiger used to really annoy me because all he did was win, and I was like, gosh, I just want to see some drama. I want to see Phil challenge him. I want to see some magic down the stretch and have Tiger pull it out in miracle-like fashion, like Rory just did at the Masters, when something is really compelling like that. Scotty sucks the drama right out of the golf tournament as well. He just doesn't do it with all the panache.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
He was already doing the dusting of the spot of where this one was going to go after Augusta this year. And the players, he's had this insane start to the year. We won 3 times. Surely Scotty Scheffler isn't going to have a resume by July that's going to be way better. It's just, there's no way. But here we are. It's Scotty Scheffler with 2 majors on the year.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe closing out hour number one. Thanks, Jeff Dawson, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com for joining us, as he does from time to time. So we got good news, bad news. The good news is we hit our Black Cloud play of the day last night with Plum getting over 5.5 assists. The bad news is we don't have one for tonight. You know, there's only one game that's yet to get underway. I don't like to force the Black Cloud. We'll force the SGP. We'll have some fun with that, a couple of shekels. But the Black Cloud, it really is that a game that we really, really, really like. And if it's not there, it's just not there. And really with the one game on the board left. So no Black Cloud. But for our year, we're 58 up, 33 down, 25 games over 500. 1-1 this week. Again, hitting with Plum last night. So hopefully we'll have something for tomorrow. Although there's not much going on tomorrow outside of the NFL. You know, I looked it up, Gabe. And you were right, not that I doubted you, but 32.5 is the number right now on FanDuel anyway for the over-under tomorrow. And I think it was 5 of the last 7 All-Star games have had 33 points or more. So the scoring has picked up a little bit. You know, they had a couple of games. The one I remember, the one or the other one, the field conditions, I forgot, like 7 years ago they couldn't play. I forgot about that one. But they actually get some points in that game. You know, they get a decent crowd. I think the atmosphere is a little bit higher than most preseason games. Nationally televised. You know, everyone's there. All the dignitaries are there. So I don't think these teams want to put on a bad show. So I kind of like the over tomorrow. Without looking at it too much yet, I think we get 33 points if you can grab it at 32. And I would grab it now. Don't let it get to 33.5, because that is a 23-10. That's a little bit of a magic, not 7 or 10, but it's a little bit of a magic number. 33, I don't care if it goes down to 32 or even 31.5 for that matter. I don't want it to go to 33 or 33.5, so I would bet it now.
There's a common perception, and I get it, but people automatically think preseason and they think unders. But if anything was that easy, there wouldn't be as many sports books in the world, right? I mean, it isn't. Yeah. So and everything is baked into the cake, so to speak, with the number. But I think there's been an overreaction to this, and you have a pretty low number. And, cosmetically, when you look at it, guys, it's like 12-4 to the under the last 16 years, and, 16-6, blah, blah, but the last 3 years, if you want to go back to the last 3 years, so let's tell you the current modern NFL, last 3 Hall of Fame games have all gone over 33 or more points. Last 3 Hall of Fame games have all had 37 or more points, Scott, in them.
Well,
and how about this? And this is, I'm curious your take on this one, because this has to be one of the strangest, I would almost say meaningless trends, but it's there. The designated home team, Scott, is 4-0 straight up the last 4 years in the Hall of Fame game. Just saying. Designated home team.
Who is it? I don't even know. Who is it this year? Detroit?
The Detroit Lions are the designated home team this year. And incidentally, I do like the Lions in this game. So Trey Lance will be the starting quarterback for the Chargers in this game. And after that, listen, you got Heineke on the team, but I don't think he's going to play much, basically. It's, Trey Lance, Heineke, and then, who's going to be playing for the most of the second half of this game? DJU. DJ Ugale. Ugale, who we would have thought could have been a top 5 pick in the NFL draft 3 years ago. Right? Remember when he came in for Trevor Lawrence? It was like, he's better than Lawrence is. Remember he played Notre Dame? He scored like 48 points, and they were like, this guy is unbelievable. He's like Cam Newton, and like, look how big he is, and he's a kid, and he's going to be the next this and that. And he's one of these players that regressed. He actually got drafted by the Dodgers. He can throw the ball, Scott, like 98 miles an hour is fastball. Right? Like, he can throw a baseball, but he wants to be a football player. So the Chargers threw him a bone. Then you look at the lines. Listen, I'm a lifelong Michigan fan, know Harbaugh, this and that. And you know this as well as I do. You really think Harbaugh cares about a preseason game? He doesn't. He never has. They went 1-2 last year in the preseason. You figure, he's a competitive guy because you look at his brother, Scott. John's one of the best preseason coaches in the history of the league, right?
Yeah.
Jim has a different approach to it, and you know as well as I do. You know, Dan Campbell wants to beat his wife at ping pong, Scott. This guy's a psycho.
Yeah, he's nuts.
You know what I mean? Like, I can see him in a room. I don't give an F. It's a preseason game. We're going to go out there.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see you guys kill him. I want to see you bite him in the kneecap. I better see some football. Can't you expect Campbell? Let's go, guys. You know what I mean? Give me the Lions.
Yeah, I like it. We're coming up.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Her and Howard at the 2-3 are extremely dangerous. But it's playoffs. And it's defense, and it's rebounding. You know the game? Offense exciting, you know, defense wins games, rebounds win championships. Well, they got BG and Brianna Jones at that 4-5 combination.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Tiger used to really annoy me because all he did was win, and I was like, gosh, I just want to see some drama. I want to see Phil challenge him. I want to see some magic down the stretch and have Tiger pull it out in miracle-like fashion, like Rory just did at the Masters, you know, when something is really compelling like that. Scotty sucks the drama right out of the golf tournament as well. He just doesn't do it with all the panache.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He was already doing the dusting of the spot of where this one was going to go after Augusta this year. And the players, you know, he's had this insane start to the year. We won 3 times. Surely Scotty Scheffler isn't going to have a resume by July that's going to be way better. It's just, there's no way. But here we are. It's Scotty Scheffler with 2 majors on the year.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Hour number 2, Scott and Gabe until 10 p.m. Eastern time. We got baseball. We got a little WNBA as well to put some shekels on in, touching on tomorrow's Hall of Fame NFL preseason game. So let's talk a little NBA, a little baseball as well, WNBA, and a little baseball as well with our good buddy Justin Perry. Check out all his work, all the picks, everything else they have. ShotQualityBets.com, PitcherList.com. As well, Hoops HQ as well. Justin, we were joking, in the break in the last segment, the Fisa Collier will start WNBA with Minnesota because they're leading the Liberty by 9 at the half. This lady, she hasn't scored 23 points in 9 games last year. They faced each other 9, right? I mean, so you got to go under 22 and a half. And then she almost has that at halftime, for goodness sake. She got 19 points. So all that great logic thrown right out the window. And I got a feeling you're on my side with that one as well, right?
Yeah, we had a little bit of an edge on the under for Collier tonight, and it did not go well. It has not been the type of night where you want to go against who I think at this point with this type of performance, if the Lynx win tonight in this finals rematch, she might be the MVP. And you can hear the sirens already going off in celebration here in New York because they're chasing her down. I mean, I don't know. But I do think that this is a good spot to come back for the Liberty to make this game a little bit closer, maybe on the spread. But yeah, I mean, Collier, she's like one of the best players in the W I've ever seen. If you want to get excited about women's basketball and where it's going, she's the type of player to watch that maybe isn't one of the big names you're going to hear, the top 5 with, Stewie and Sabrina and Caitlin and Asia. Like, she's probably that player that maybe people don't know yet that they really should. So went against her, going to have to eat it tonight, but there's probably going to continue to be reason to look for her to maybe have a colder game coming up. She's been overperforming for a while, and that's what our SQ data really hones in on.
She does it all. She really is awesome. I'm going to say that I think that ambulance might be a Liberty better that lost on Monday against the Wings, Scott.
First
and,
half better.
Yeah, and now tonight, broken hand. Can't believe these girls down at the half again. So at the half here, looking at this, it's kind of a tough spot because you figure, all right, the Liberty kind of humiliated the other night. This is a big-time game, rematch and all that. But I think Minnesota are better than they are right now. No Breanna Stewart. Do you think the Liberty chip away? We saw them down by 27 at the half against the Wings. They came all the way back, cut at the 6. Or does their back get broken? Did Minnesota just come out and punch them in the mouth in the third quarter here? They could go that way. What do you guys think? What do you think, Justin, the second half here?
It's looking like there's going to be value in that live spread. It's pretty big right now, which is a really intriguing option, right? You get into that double-digit spot where markets have basically decided this game's essentially over. You can grab, crazy prices right now to back the Lynx, right? This game's currently sitting at minus 1,200 on the money line. They think this one's done. So we don't necessarily agree. I'm not going to go ahead and lean into a money line bet given the talent disparity tonight. But based on the shots that are being taken and the amount of possessions on the floor, we only have this as a deficit of 5 for the Liberty. So I don't know about coming back to win it, but maybe getting back into a threatening range or at least within single digits.
They're
like a
10.5 right now.
Yeah, plus 12 and a half. The second half just started. This is crazy.
Yeah, they're down by 8 now. So 53-45, 10.5, 173.5. And second half has started, guys, with the Wings and the Dream. And me and Scott were talking about liking the over this game. We got in on it over 166, 66.5. In-game total now 172.5. What do you think, Justin? Me and Scott thought there was going to be points in this basketball game, but I would expect it to be a higher scoring second half as well.
I kind of disagree with you on that one, honestly, Gabe. I'm going to have to go against you and say this one could slow down. If you have an over tonight on 169, you might even want to take a 3-point middle on under 172 that you can get live right now. We have this one expected to be a little bit slower just in terms of the shots that these players are hitting right now. Currently expected to be 38-38, not 44-45. So that's a pretty serious disparity, especially for the WNBA, which usually has tighter numbers. Both these teams shooting well tonight. So I would just expect it to maybe fade out in the later quarters.
All right, let's switch over to baseball. We got a couple of games here that are yet to begin. We'll start with Texas and the LA Angels. Angels going for the sweep, which is a surprise to me. Justin, how do you play this one?
Angels also buying at the deadline, guys. I have 5% expected chance to make the playoffs. This is exciting. They want this game. I don't think they're going to get it. Soriano has been one of the most overrated pitchers in my personal grading system. I don't give out a lot of Fs anymore, but he has an F grade tonight. He's just been able to kind of weave this magic into a 3.79 ERA with a 1.40 whip. How often do you see guys hold numbers like those together? A 1.40 whip usually gives way to like a 4.8 ERA, and that's what his expected numbers are looking like. So this could be a spot where Texas gets this game, doesn't want to sweep at all. So yeah, I like Texas first 5 money line, target Soriano, go for the Rangers to strike early against an overperforming pitcher.
I don't doubt for a second, part of this Angels buying versus sellers is just how many years do they have with Mike Trout left, right? And maybe they probably, when he re-signed a few years back, I'm sure there were some guarantees like, listen, you're going to try and do everything you can to, make us a winner, right? And they probably said, yeah. And, they're only 4 back. And, if they made the playoffs, do I think they would win? Probably not, but if you got Mike Trout and he's in the back end of his career, right? You just can't throw away seasons.
No, you can't. You can't. He's a spectacular player, and you have guys. You have Ward coming into his own now. You have Shanuel coming into his own. I think I mispronounce that name every time I say it. But then you have Zach Neto at the top of this lineup, and he is a super dynamic run-scoring threat to open up every single game. So this roster is maybe a little undervalued. I liked what I saw, believe it or not, from third baseman Yoan Moncada. This baseball team could do something because the American League is that weak. I don't know if they're going to necessarily be able to pull it off, but this would be akin to like what the Arizona Diamondbacks did. I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't necessarily bet on it, but they definitely have the offense. It's just, can they get that type of high-level overperformance to continue to flow from their pitching as it has in the AL West?
This is a big sort of crossroads for them. They're battling, trying to get back to 500 and then go on that run. But we brought it up earlier, Justin, that in this year you see baseball. Look at the Blue Jays. Blue Jay fans wanted to fire John Gibbons like a month ago, right? And then all it takes is a hot week and a half, a hot 2 weeks, put together a 10-2 record, put together a 10-3 record, etc., and you can really flip the script in baseball this year, especially in the American League.
I mean, yeah, baseball, the season's basically just getting started for contenders. You don't really want to ever count anything out. These teams go on these crazy runs. I can't tell you how many times in my childhood watching baseball I saw the Mets collapse as a New Yorker. So don't tell me anything's over in July. At least wait to mid-August to start saying about who's eliminated, who should be done. I know teams to buy and sell now.
September 1st is the real date.
Yeah,
that's when it gets. There really are levels to it. You know what I mean, Scott? Like August 1st, like, oh, they're not so good anymore as the games get real. September 1st, like, oh, the games count now. I used to see it every year with the Expos. I'd be like, they're only 2 out, and it's August 16th.
I love the Angels spot. It's great. It's great for baseball. It's good for baseball to see teams 5 games out and on July 30th going for it. I love it.
Yeah. Justin, great job as always. Good luck with the picks, and hopefully we'll do it again soon. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And quick one, I'm also taking Mariners first 5 team total over, so let's get it there too.
There you go, little bonus there for Justin. Appreciate that, Justin. Thanks.
Of course. See you later.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. Thanks, Justin Perry, ShotQualityBets.com, PitcherList.com, and HoopsHQ.com as well. So we got the quintessential winners bet with streaks, losers bet against streaks in play tonight. And that is, believe it or not, the Cincinnati Reds, Gabe. Right now, tied with the LA Dodgers, 2-2. They're playing top of the 8th inning. Dodgers have a runner on second base. Looks like one out, so they're minus 148. Cincinnati is plus 116. And let me just double check before I say what I'm about to say and make sure that these two teams aren't playing tomorrow. I don't think they are, but Rays and Stankies tomorrow, Reds and Braves, yeah, no. So one of the quirky little things in baseball, there's only one team that has not been swept in a series this year. And that is, believe it or not, Cincinnati Reds. 34 series, and they have yet to lose, been swept in a series. They've lost 4 in a row. They've lost 3 in a row, but they would win like the first of a series, lose the next 2, then lose the first 2 of the next series, but win the last game. So they've lost, 4 or 5 in a row, but they've not been swept in a series. They lost the first 2 in this series. So it's tied right now. You want to bet with them or against them, knowing all that? That's true. yeah.
Stone cold
Let's
trend. Valdez 13-0. Collier 22 like points. We were DeGrom this and that like all week like these. The trends and you know what I mean. So I would venture that's dangerous there. Reds are an interesting team, right? Because it's a good point. They've never really been good or bad this year. They're just sort of there. Right. And I think there's sort of a thought, amongst some that they might be underachieving too somehow, but I don't really think so. I bet their season win total to the over purely on the manager. Right. I'm like, yeah, you know what? They'll 76 and a half, 77. I'm like, they'll get that. I thought they were a 500 team, right? Flirt with a playoff spot, but not really make it. Maybe they're a team that can get hot still. I mean, it's crazy, Scott. They actually have pitching. Remember before it was like they can't pitch, but they hit. They actually have some pitchers on this team. They're not a bad team. It's not easy, actually. Let's be real. Give them a little credit, Scott. It's not easy to be 4 games over 500 in the modern era. Right? They are. Yeah. Like I said, they're on pace to go over their season win total. They're on pace to have a winning record this year, but they need to pick it up a little bit because the Cubs and Brewers are just better.
Yeah. They would have. I don't think they're going to win the division, but you get them in the postseason, that would be an accomplishment. Yeah, listen, Terry Francona is great. As a Red Sox fan, he'll always be he realistically is probably the best Red Sox manager, in my lifetime anyway. He's got 2 World Series, so that alone puts him on top in my world. And they ran him out of town, Dave. They ran him out of town with the analytics. If you read his book, it basically was the analytics. He didn't want people telling him, who to start, who to put in, and the lineup. They were doing everything, and this was like 10 years ago. That book, probably 15 years ago when that book was written. So imagine what it's like now for some of these teams. They all make fun of Aaron Boone here in New York, but I tell Stanky fans, listen, he's not alone. If you think these managers are making the lineups every day, that's just not the case anymore. Just isn't.
Oh, that hasn't been the case for like 10 years, like sort of the slowly but surely. You're right. And, we're going back a ways. I don't know how many years it's been off the top of my head since Mike Scioscia managed, 12, 15, maybe, I'd say up top. But same thing. The analytics department, and think about it. We're talking about Mike Scioscia, Scott, who played in multiple World Series as a player, right? And won a World Series with the Dodgers. Actually, that was Steve Yeager on the 77, 78. So 81, nevertheless, on the great Dodger team, 81, and great career. Won with the Angels, you know what I mean? Played, won, manager, won, and was a catcher. And he used to really get into it, like old school, versus new school. They would hand him charts and analytics, and he would tell them, listen, I know how to call an effing game. I call the pitches. I was a catcher, and I'm the manager. I call the game. And they're like, well, if you don't like it, it's not the way it is anymore. And he goes, I don't like it. And you notice, never managed after. He really said, I can't deal with this. Like he's not, some modern guys, some guys will be like, and I'll manage, I'll battle with the analytics guys and I'll do my thing in the dugout, etc. But you're right. And, being a Dodger, you see with Dave Roberts, who is a Red Sox fan. I mean, you guys don't win the World Series without him, but you see with Dave Roberts, people go, Dave Roberts this. Same with Boone. Dude, Boone doesn't make a damn decision, bro. They tell him before the game, this pitcher's pitching 67 pitches, this is that. You throw it here, you throw it there. And if you don't, you'll get fired, Scott. Right? You're going to override the analytics? They'll tell them, guys, like when people wonder analytics, their numbers will say, listen, if you throw it at this part of the, here, 79% of the chance he's going to do this. So you better do this. And you know what I mean? Like, and even if you're right and you don't listen to them, like, you won't be the manager long. It's just a modern, you said it, Scott. If you're the manager now, your job is to talk to the media and stop guys from, like, grabbing each other's junk, like in the Raiders room this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah, that's a big lie. Yeah, like as if. You think a fight broke out in an NFL clubhouse or locker room over a kiss on a forehead? Like, no.
And not to mention, it was football players. I said they gave it. What football player would go to management and say, "Oh, this guy kissed me on the forehead," right? He clocked the guy in the face. It'd be
He'd
funny.
go, get off of me, bro. He'd be like, "What are you doing? Get off of me!" Exactly. Yeah. No, it was more than that. Like, it doesn't turn into a fist fight in an NFL room over someone leaning in and kissing you on the forehead. Let's just be real. Thing is, Scott Wilkins, if you look, dude, the guy has grabbed Josh Allen's junk twice, like really hard on the field. There's clips of him in college grabbing guys' junk.
Really?
Like this is what he does. And even other NFL players, when the story broke, had like LOL emojis online, Scott, all saying, I played with Wilkins. He's a real freak in the room. Like I said, it's a family program. Remember Charles Haley? He used to walk around swinging his thing in people's faces, man, and they'd be scared. Like, modern era HR. Like, the Raiders went to HR. Yeah, you know what I mean? Al Davis rolling in his grave, Scott, thinking what? Imagine Al Davis finding out we're in the news because someone kissed the Raiders. Raiders used to punch each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on.
Right.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Her and Howard at the 2-3 are extremely dangerous. But it's playoffs. And it's defense, and it's rebounding. You know the game? Offense exciting, defense wins games, rebounds win championships. Well, they got BG and Brianna Jones at that 4-5 combination.
Above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Tiger used to really annoy me because all he did was win, and I was like, gosh, I just want to see some drama. I want to see Phil challenge him. I want to see some magic down the stretch and have Tiger pull it out in miracle-like fashion, like Rory just did at the Masters, when something is really compelling like that. Scotty sucks the drama right out of the golf tournament as well. He just doesn't do it with all the panache.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He was already doing the dusting of the spot of where this one was going to go after Augusta this year. And the players, he's had this insane start to the year. We won 3 times. Surely Scotty Scheffler isn't going to have a resume by July that's going to be way better. It's just, there's no way. But here we are. It's Scotty Scheffler with 2 majors on the year.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. Got a couple of baseball games here starting in a little bit. Haven't talked too much about the Seattle and Oakland, or Seattle and Sacramento, actually, so we'll start there. Kind of a quirky thing. Mariners losing last night 6-1, so they've rotated wins and losses over their last 9 games. If that means anything, that they should win theoretically tonight, if you want to go there, if you want to buy into that system. So minus 148, you see it, plus 126 on the other side. Brian Rue pitching for Seattle. He's been pretty good. Listen, all these starting pitchers have been pretty good. His strikeout total is 5.5. He's hit 6 strikeouts in 7 of his last 10 games. If you want to go there, his outs are a little too high, 18.5. I wouldn't do that with any pitcher in that ballpark. That means he's got to pitch into the 7th inning. I'd like to know, Gabe, I wish there was a site. Maybe there's one out there. I would like to know teams' records. How should I word this? Starting pitchers' distance, 5 innings or less against teams. Like, how many times has a starting pitcher gone more than 5 innings against the Sacramento A's? You know, I would like to know like that. That would give you a real heads up on some of these out props that I like to play. You get the pitchers, but I would like to know the teams they're facing. You know, if the starting pitcher doesn't go more than 5, a third of the time against the LA Dodgers, boy, I'm looking to go under a lot. Or if a starting pitcher goes more than 5 against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and generally the outs are around 15, 15, 16. It is around 5 innings. I don't know if the site keeps track of that stuff, but that would be a good stat to know.
You know what? Crazy stat. Speaking of the out prop, and in a modern era, you and I have been talked about a lot this week that pitchers go 5, and even good pitchers. Rarely you see someone go 7 anymore. So how the hell are you going to get to 18.5 outs, right? And you talk about somebody's props, but this is mind blowing with Wu tonight, Scott. Wu has started 18 games this year. He's worked at least 6 innings in every game this year. When we're talking about consistency, that's not talked about in the modern era, huh? That's pretty wild, isn't it? 18 starts, 6 or more innings in every game. Pretty impressive, too. He's got a 0.95 whip, 121 strikeouts on the season, speaking of a strikeout prop.
How can't you go over that? I know it's Sacramento, but...
Well, that's all players do now. They either hit home runs or they strike out. They hit a home run or they strike out. So, they could score 5 runs and have 9 strikeouts in a game now in the modern era.
Right. Well, he's got 6 innings in every start. That is amazing.
It really is.
I can't imagine there's another pitcher that's done that this year.
No, we were talking about Valdez being the model of consistency. They call it the quality starts. Right. And I would say, there's one that he didn't. But all kidding aside, Scott, it was the All-Star game. But it's in the game log. You know what I mean? It's in the game log.
Right. Yeah.
But last start 6 innings. Start before 6 innings. Exactly. Start before 7 1/3. Start before 6. 7, 6. 6 2/3. 6, 7, 6 1/3. 6 1/3. Dear God, it's crazy, Scott. Yeah, the dude has gone. From the first game of the year that he pitched, he went 6 innings, and he's never pitched less than 6 innings since all year.
How many times has he thrown
in the modern era?
100 pitches. How many times has he thrown for 100?
All right, pitch count.
Because he must be doing this.
Good question. Great question.
With low pitch count.
Twice.
Wow. So he's going 6 plus,
question.
And he's not even really hitting 100 pitches.
96, 91. 96, 91, 108, 93, 97, 91, 86, 79, 88, 95, 93, 87, 88, 100, 87, 91, 97, 91, 89. You get the picture here. They seem to pull him at 95, 97 type of deal. You go 6 innings. It's, like you said, it's pretty impressive, huh? I'll go 6 innings. It'll cost me less than 100 pitches, and I'll get out of here, and I'll hit the showers.
Right. And that's how it should be. That really is how it should be. Whenever you need to go 100,
you leave 3 innings for your pen.
You're in a tough spot.
You give 3 innings to the pen. Set up and relief. Yeah, set up and closer.
That's it. Now you can throw 50 pitches, and if you're through 5, they're like, okay, you're done. Well, I got 50 pitches. Yeah, but you threw 5 innings. They're more concerned about the innings half the time than they are the pitches. It's so crazy. So
I think they baby
like
the
that.
pitchers, though. You're a Red Sox fan. Remember Bill the Spaceman Lee? He's still pitching against the Savannah Banners now. The guy's like 82 years old. You know, dude, Clemens used to throw 160 pitches, and he would throw hard the next day in practice.
Yeah. Great.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try Blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Pages. Let's get lucky.
Her and Howard at the 2-3 are extremely dangerous. But it's playoffs. And it's defense, and it's rebounding. You know the game? Offense exciting, defense wins games, rebounds win championships. Well, they got BG and Brianna Jones at that 4-5 combination.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Tiger used to really annoy me because all he did was win, and I was like, gosh, I just want to see some drama. I want to see Phil challenge him. I want to see some magic down the stretch and have Tiger pull it out in miracle-like fashion, like Rory just did at the Masters, when something is really compelling like that. Scotty sucks the drama right out of the golf tournament as well. He just doesn't do it with all the panache.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He was already doing the dusting of the spot of where this one was going to go after Augusta this year. And the players, he's had this insane start to the year. We won 3 times. Surely Scotty Scheffler isn't going to have a resume by July that's going to be way better. It's just, there's no way. But here we are. It's Scotty Scheffler with 2 majors on the year.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Let me just quickly update the WNBA board before we bring in Brady Cannon to talk a little golf with the Wyndham Championships. Atlanta leading Dallas 71-66. They just begun the 4th quarter, over under 169.5. So we're there. We're going to have to kind of sweat this one out a little bit. Lynx holding on to a 11-point lead over the Liberty, 75-65. They've entered the 4th quarter. Scoring has come down a little bit on that one, just out of curiosity's sake. Let me see how our scores are doing in that contest as far as points are concerned.
Sabrina's at 17. At 17. Collier, 22. She's up to 9 rebounds, though. She's got an assist. Listen, a lot of people played John Kyle Jones tonight, Scott. I saw she was a trendy pick tonight in the betting landscape. She's only got 7 points. Natasha Cloud's got 10 right now for the Liberty. And a quick check of Paige Beckers, whose prop was 16.5 tonight. Paige Beckers, 5 of 14 from the field, 28 minutes, 12 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. And there's still a little more than 7 minutes left in this game. So we're going to need Paige to close strong here, Scott, to hit this one. We need 5 more points from Paige.
All right. How you doing with your Collier over 33.5? I would think that is hit, right? Since he's got 20
We're at 22-9-1. 22-9-1 right now. So we're we're
2 more points
short. Short of short of that 7-mile asteroid spaceship in space supposedly that's about to hit us. Hitting the arena, I'm going to hit this bet.
Yeah. Oh, I must say, I've had Caitlin Clark needing like 2 points early fourth quarter and her not getting anything. So
I've been there before.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
happened to me a couple of times. So let's talk a little golf with our good buddy SportsGrid and golf analyst Brady Cannon to the program. What's going on, Brady? How are you tonight?
Hey, good to be with you guys. A Golf Wednesday, of course. We've got the final regular season PGA Tour event, the Wyndham Championship, beginning on Thursday early morning, Greensboro, North Carolina. And then we head to the playoffs. So, it kind of felt like there was a little bit of a lull after the season's first major. But here we go, right back into the fire. Playoffs begin. And, just a couple months down the road, there's still empty spots up for grabs for the Ryder Cup. So, a lot of golf here before we finish out this 2025 season, really.
Yeah, it almost feels good to see you, Brady. And Cam was going to join us too tonight, but he couldn't make it tonight. But I was just going to say, Scott and Brady, with the last major being done, it almost feels all right. The golf season's done, but got the Ryder Cup around the corner, the FedEx Cup playoffs, players trying to make the Ryder Cup, and some pretty big names, Scott, here, and Brady would know this, and I always wanted to ask you about, do you like the players that are on the bubble as the postseason approaches right now, including Jordan Spieth, Xander of all people, on the bubble right now, Brady? Who else is on the bubble that we should know about?
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I think it can enter your mind as part of the handicap, but it doesn't want to be the end all be it of your handicap. You can't throw all your eggs in that basket, because I don't think you can really gauge if a guy is motivated because he needs to, it's like football. Can they flip a switch when they must win? So I actually have two guys on my card this week. I've got Christian Bezuidenhout, the South African. He's not involved in Ryder Cup talk, but he is 74th on the FedEx Cup points list, and the top 70 get in. Now, he's been playing really well as of late. I think he's a great fit for this golf course. So if he just kind of continues to do what he's doing, he's had 3 top 16 finishes in his last 8 starts and was 20th last week in Minnesota. So he just does more of the same. He's going to get inside that top 70. The other guy I have on my card at 95-1 to win it all this week is Chris Kirk. Just missed with him in a playoff a few weeks ago at the Rocket Classic, which is another Donald Ross designed golf course like we have here this week. He is currently 73rd in the standings, and he's very similar to Bezuidenhout. He's had a number of really good finishes as of late. I mentioned the loss in the playoff. So I think, those guys, there's a little bit of pressure, enough to get their attention. But I don't know if I want to bet on a guy. It's like you got to win the thing to get in, or you got to finish top 10. I mean, sometimes I think that's a little much for these guys to take on. But in the case of Bezuidenhout and Chris Kirk, if they just keep going like they're going, they're gonna get into the postseason and extend their season.
All right. So I guess you don't like Jordan Spieth then at 30-1, because that's one of the big name guys that are on the bubble that you would think in a tournament like this would have a halfway decent chance, but no go, huh?
No, well, I don't want to play him to win the thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if he played well, Scott. He's done well here before. I think Jordan Spieth will do well, and I think he will end up making the postseason. I think it's hard to say for Xander. Now, Xander's started to play very, very well. Did well at the U.S. Open, did well at the British Open, but I just, he missed so much of the season. I want to say he missed about 8 weeks. He's so far behind the 8 ball. I didn't want to bet on either of those guys to win the golf tournament, but Xander's actually not in the field. I'm not positive where he stands actually on the FedEx Cup. Jordan is here, and I thought about betting him, but I stayed away from him. I stayed away from Matsuyama, who I think is pretty good value at around 35-1. I landed on Robert McIntyre at 35. This guy is accurate off the tee, ball striker, great putter, makes a lot of birdies. That's who we see win at this course. It's like your ball striker putter guys like Russell Henley and Billy Horschel and Lucas Glover and Aaron Rai, Kevin Kistner. And so I think that's the type of player you want here this week. And I think Robert McIntyre fits the mold. He's also been playing great, runner-up at the U.S. Open, 7th at the British Open. This guy is a classy player for sure.
Guys, I almost like to read the magazine backwards, like when handicapping, and sort of look at who I like and not be concerned about the number, right? But where I'm going with this is I thought I was sort of smart or cute or something for thinking, you know what? Matt Fitzpatrick's playing good golf right now. 4 straight top 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he is. He's the freaking favorite. So it's not like,
yeah,
great pick, Morency. He's 19-1. Yeah, great job.
Well, I tell you what,
Fitzpatrick.
Better find that diamond in the rough.
A couple of the sharpest golf handicappers I know are both on it. Yeah, I mean,
what about
the guys I
Fitzpatrick? And 20-1's not a terrible number in reality, right?
No,
I mean, come on.
No, I mean, it ain't Scotty Scheffler territory, right? I mean, if the shortest shot on the board is 20-1, that sounds like a pretty competitive golf tournament. But you're exactly right. He's been playing very, very well at the Scottish Open. He's also got that motivation. He's in the playoffs. He's in the top 70, no problem. But he is currently, I believe, 13th on the Ryder Cup's points list for the European side. So he's got some ground to make up if he's going to be a captain's pick or even find his way into the automatic bids. So that's really, I think, where some motivation lies for Fitzpatrick. And he's a good fit for this golf course. Like I say, a couple of the most well-respected guys, I think, in the golf betting space are both on him this week. I mean, take your pick. He and McIntyre are very similar type players. McIntyre's already on the Ryder Cup squad. He doesn't have anything to worry about. I kind of like that when a guy doesn't have anything weighing on his mind. But, you know, and I could get McIntyre at 35 versus Fitzpatrick at 20. So I went with the higher number, but I'm not going to argue with Fitzpatrick at all. I would expect him to show up and do well this week.
I see you got Harry Hall there.
Fade? Go ahead, Gabe. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just sorry about Harry Hall, but what about Harry Hall to potentially win? I see you got him in a prop here, Brady, but what about Hall to potentially win this tournament, or is that a little bit ambitious?
No, I mean, he fits the mold. I wonder if he's become like a little bit of a trendy pick. I've seen his number drift all the way up into like the 55 range. He's a great putter. He makes a ton of birdies. And Gabe, maybe we'll get 2 UNLV Rebels 2 weeks in a row. Kurt Kitayama last week and Harry Hall this week. Who knows if that means anything. Maybe Adam Scott, another Rebel in the mix that certainly needs a win to get into the postseason.
UNLV running Rebels, too. Don't forget, best woman hot dog champions in the world, too. She's a Rebel as well.
How about that? Now it's Feast of Knowledge.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try Blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
Her and Howard at the 2-3 are extremely dangerous. But it's playoffs. And it's defense, and it's rebounding. You know the game. Offense exciting. You know, defense wins games. Rebounds win championships. Well, they got BG and Brianna Jones at that 4-5 combination.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Tiger used to really annoy me because all he did was win, and I was like, gosh, I just want to see some drama. I want to see Phil challenge him. I want to see some magic down the stretch and have Tiger pull it out in miracle-like fashion, like Rory just did at the Masters, you know, when something is really compelling like that. Scotty sucks the drama right out of the golf tournament as well. He just doesn't do it with all the panache.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
He was already doing the dusting of the spot of where this one was going to go after Augusta this year. And the players, you know, he's had this insane start to the year. We won 3 times. Surely Scotty Scheffler isn't going to have a resume by July that's going to be way better. It's just, there's no way. But here we are. It's Scotty Scheffler with 2 majors on the year.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
welcome back to Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2 up until 10 o'clock Eastern time. Thanks again to Brady Ken. Some golf picks from Brady. I always appreciate that. So back to the baseball board. I do see the Reds have scored 3 in the bottom of the 8th, and they've taken a 5-2 lead over the Dodgers. So that streak of 34, this will be now 35 series to start the season without being swept. Looks like it's going to continue. I don't know if a team has gone the entire year without being swept. That's a pretty good for a team game that's 5 games over 500. We're not talking about a team that's 20 games over 500 and just good. Yeah, that's a decent little accomplishment. I got to tell you, if they can continue this, one of the quirky little stats that we'll bring up tomorrow, and just keep an eye on. So 5-2. Yeah, right.
It is a bizarre world started. This game was 2-2. There was 2 out, and there was 2 strikes, and there was a foul ball down the left field line, but clearly foul. Kind of like, is it going to go into the stands or is it catchable? And Andy Pages is actually a very good defensive player, right? And it was almost like Al Lou in the Bartman play. He went up against the wall, and he actually had it. No one interfered, though, but he had it, and it popped out of his glove. And literally the next pitch gets hit to Outman, who screwed it up. And the Dodgers defense, basically it's one of these deals I'm watching, Scott, the sound's down, obviously, but in between every pitch, they keep on showing both their faces, close-ups, like the Dodgers broadcast. Right. It's that's when you know they both screwed up. And they both have that. The Pages is safer than Outman. Outman's just been called, you know what I mean? So it's they have that sort of look of that look of fear going on. The look of fear and that sweat in Cincinnati. But, 5-2 now. That really is unbelievable. That's what I'm saying, Scott. I don't know, sports bars aren't what they used to be, but walking in with, a book of some of these facts, like the Brewers this, and you know what, only 4 times ever was there 5 sacrifice flies in a game before. The Reds of all teams. If you would say, which team hasn't been swept this year? Some would say, I don't know, the Tigers, the Dodgers. They just sort of assume one of these really good top-tier teams, right? But it's not the case.
Yeah. How many guesses would you need before you got to the Reds?
A
15,
lot.
20? Right? I mean,
a lot.
I'd probably give up and say, is this
the
a
Phillies? I'm a Dodger fan, so I know they have been, but I wouldn't say, the Cincinnati Reds. I know that. That's an easy question. I wouldn't know that.
Yeah. Now, Ohtani left the game. Any update from Ohtani? He left in the 4th inning. Threw 6 pitches in the 4th inning.
Yeah, no, it wasn't an injury situation. It was just 1st and 3rd with nobody out situation. He was in the 4th. Yeah, he batted after. He's been batting. So he only.
Twitter made it seem like it was an injury thing. So
no, because it looked because we left, and I don't know if he always doesn't go to the clubhouse or not, Scott. After when he comes out of a game when he's hitting, you know what I mean? I don't. You figure he would anyway. Just sort of dry up a little bit and say, all right, I'll put my batting glove on, whatever. But so he left, and people were wondering, well, is he hurt? Did something happen? But no, he's been batting since, so he's fine. No, he came back in the dugout minutes after he got taken out of the game as a pitcher.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I say this a lot in sports. That's no big deal. I mean, but then you start thinking about teams. You guys don't do that. No one does this specifically. But it's okay. I would have thought, Gabe, if you're pitching Ohtani and he's taken out of the game, then that's it. He's done for the day. Listen, we're 20 games over 500. We don't have to live and die with every single win or loss. We're the LA Dodgers. Go rest up, go ice down your arm, go do whatever you have to do. But the fact that this guy actually still plays, albeit DHing, is just another one of those things. You wouldn't get that out of the normal player. You do have to kind of appreciate.
He's that competitive, Scott. He's that competitive.
It's amazing.
Bro. He takes off the pitcher, he puts his glove on, and he's got a new look. All right, I'm ready to bat now. And he wants to play the outfield too. And they said, no. You know what I mean? He doesn't like being just a DH. That's why he pitches. He doesn't like he wants to be part of this. Hell, he'd play center field if the Dodgers would let him. Right? He really is just special. And so is Mookie Betts, though. We talk about Devers. How many players, Scott, would say, yeah, well, whatever, dude. You want to play shortstop? Sure. I'll play second base. You want to play right field? Betts will do whatever they ask him. right? And he takes the challenge. Like he says, no, it's fun. Like, I enjoyed learning and trying to learn a new position. But I liked what you said about Devers, and I think that was true, what he should have done in Boston. He should have just said, sure. I just started booting balls and like just half-assing it. Not faking it, but you know what I mean? Just sort of, hey, that was a steamer. Whoa, hey, like, you know what I mean? Getting out of the way and stuff. And then saying, hey, you know what? I'm trying, man. But, hey, you know, it's not really my position. You're right. He should have just went out there. And after a week, they would have said, all right. We'll move Bregman. We're gonna do this or that. We're going to move someone around here.
Yeah, that's what they should have done. They really – but, you know, for the guy who's been in the United States for how many years? He's been with the Red Sox for 7, 8, 9, and he still can't talk to the media speaking English. So, and then people are like ripping on him for like not being a team leader. And I'm saying, well, how can it be a team leader if he can't talk English? You know? Who's listening to him?
That's a con.
You know? So, he
can.
Right.
Yeah, he can. And I love Vladimir Guerrero Sr., but I covered him in Montreal. He never did an English interview once. And you would have thought, like, that this guy didn't understand anything, right? Unless, I tell you, I saw him around a couple of very pretty women before. His English was pretty good suddenly.
Yeah.
No, his English was actually pretty good. Like, I was like, whoa, like, you're just, and he sort of grinned. Like I once said, I said, you know, your English is a lot better, than like you let on. He sort of grinned at me, like, and it's a shield. You know, they go, Tawny. Oh, Tawny's a smart guy. He's one of the greatest. Look how smart he is. You know what I mean? You go, Tawny speaks English now? As if. He just doesn't want to do all the interviews and stuff. It's an easy out, Scott.
Yeah.
I don't understand what you're saying, and I can't talk.
Yeah, sorry. You know, I hit the ball. That's all I can tell you. That's all I know, right?
Remember Sosa did that in Congress? So he spoke English for years, and in Congress, he was I don't understand the question. I don't really understand the question.
Yeah. Speaks English great, but not during that steroid investigation. All right, we'll close up shop next.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try Blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
Her and Howard at the 2-3 are extremely dangerous. But it's playoffs. And it's defense, and it's rebounding. You know the game? Offense exciting, defense wins games, rebounds win championships. Well, they got BG and Brianna Jones at that 4-5 combination.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Tiger used to really annoy me because all he did was win, and I was like, gosh, I just want to see some drama. I want to see Phil challenge him. I want to see some magic down the stretch and have Tiger pull it out in miracle-like fashion, like Rory just did at the Masters, when something is really compelling like that. Scotty sucks the drama right out of the golf tournament as well. He just doesn't do it with all the panache.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He was already doing the dusting of the spot of where this one was going to go after Augusta this year. And the players, he's had this insane start to the year. We won 3 times. Surely Scotty Scheffler isn't going to have a resume by July that's going to be way better. It's just, there's no way. But here we are. It's Scotty Scheffler with 2 majors on the year.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe closing up shop past 2 hours. Thanks to all the great guests we had. Jeff Dawson, Justin Perry, and, of course, Brady Cannon. So last check of the board here. We'll start in the WNBA, where we had 3 games heading into tonight's. We got 2 that are still going on. 35 seconds left, 85-83. That's 168 points in my book. So we got 35 seconds left. So that one, what would we get that one?
That's a winner.
169. We need 2 more points.
No, 166 and a half. It was 166 and a half.
I thought that. Yeah, right? Okay. So, bingo. We hit that one. And the Lynx leading by 6 over the Liberty, 97-91. That was a high score.
Yeah, this is dude, it's 7 now with 38 seconds. Scott, definition of spread on the line, huh?
Wow.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
It comes down to free throws and possession. Sabrina goes off, 29 points. Good. I lost the other night with Sabrina, guys. I went right back to it. I was stubborn. Scott gave us numbers saying, you know what, the numbers say no, but she's 29, 4 for 6 from 3. And Collier, 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists. Wow. So she got 42 combined, and it was 33 and a half. So she's like the Nikolai Jokic of the WNBA. I think it's the best comparison. Like, she's like a stat queen, this girl. Like, it's unbelievable.
That's not a bad comparison. Yeah, that is really good. So, yeah, this week has just been horrible for trends. Listen, we've had a great run this summer. But this week, that's why I think maybe we'll cut it down to 3. We don't want to give away all our profits here because everything.
Start looking up some NFL preseason trends.
Yeah. We'll get into that tomorrow. But the woman hadn't scored 23 points in 9 games last year. I'd ask you who hadn't scored 20 in 8 of the 9, and they both obliterate that tonight.
They've combined for 59 points so far with a minute left.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy. Does that have anything? I don't know. Who do you think's going to win the WNBA championship, by the way? And did this game influence that opinion? If you think
Minnesota Lynx, I think Collier is going to do the daily double, like SGA did, win the MVP and win the championship. I think Minnesota, they got a chip on their shoulder and they're good, Scott.
Just like New York. That's why I liked New York last year. I hit New York a bullseye because they had a chip on their shoulder from 2 years ago.
You're right. It seems to be the pattern in the WNBA. You make the finals, lose, get back and win, right? That's the pattern last 2-3 years.
Yeah. So all 3 games that I went over. I tell you, I don't play unders. I really don't. Dream and Wings tied at 85, so no matter what number you got there, that's definitely going over. Fever, a 107-101 regulation. Obviously, that went over. And then, Minnesota 100-93. There's your final in. 107-93. So Fever win, 100-93. So Lynx, what you talk about, right on a number. So if you got it at 7, you got to push. There were some 7.5s out there, depending on which side you were on. I think probably most people on New York plus the 7.5. You might have got a little lucky with that one.
Yeah, wild. 100-93 final score. Sails over the number, 100-93, so lands at 7. Wow. And we got an 85-85 game with the Dream and Wings. I like the under, guys, if you recall, the under 8.5 with the Rangers and Angels. Scoreless right now, top of the second, although Texas do have a runner right now, Scott, on third base, but pretty big drop from 8.5 to 6.5 already when you consider it's still only the top of the second inning right now.
Yeah, I've seen that with these Texas games, boy. They dropped them fast. You survived that first inning, and I've seen drops like this. It's kind of crazy. If they don't score a lot of runs early on, then it's the typical 2-1 Texas game. Then, of course, it'll go back to 7-8 runs tomorrow. We're not getting 10 runs. But they do tend to drop those pretty quickly. Yankees came back, tied up Tampa Bay. They were down 1-0 for the longest time. I know Jeff had over 5.5 in there. He suggested it, and it's 3-3. Bottom of the ninth, Yankees with a runner on base. So 7.5. We like to play these overs in games that head to extra innings. If you got to take a chance on the Yankees not scoring again, 1 out, runner on first base. But if so, you grab the over 7.5. We like to do that. And Marlins shutting out the Cardinals. Quick thoughts on tomorrow's game, but we'll be on at 8 o'clock. But quick thoughts for tomorrow's game, preseason?
I'm going to go with the over. The trend will be our friend on this one. Bypass the bigger numbers, guys, about 16-4 and unders and all that. Last 3 years, 37 or more points in every Hall of Fame game. Enough speed on the field tomorrow to get the game over the number. Give me the Lions to win, Scott.
I like it. I like both as well. We'll see you tomorrow night, folks.